Hey, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. Today, I'm going to talk to you about your least favorite subject. That is drills. You can get good at this game without doing drills, but it is a very slow, difficult process. One of the most overlooked aspects of doing drills is the confidence that drills give you. If you're playing 8-ball and you have that long straight shot that most amateur players dread, and you shot 50 of them the day before, it's a non-event for you. You don't care where that ball is. You don't care how many times you need to shoot it. You shot 50 yesterday, you made 45, or you shot 50 yesterday and you made 25. It doesn't matter. When you see this shot and you have reps built into that shot, it is a non-event. Today, I'm going to give you 5 mistakes that people make when doing drills, and number 5 is one of the most critical and most important. So if you don't watch the video all the way to the end, we do need rackers. While I go over this top 5 list with you, I'm going to play in the background or in the foreground some of my favorite drills, the ones that I think you should be doing. The number 1 mistake that players make when it comes to drills is simply not doing drills. Bottom line is, everybody wants to play games. I want to get on this table and just run straight pool racks over and over again. But the reality is 80–90% of those shots that I see on the table in an 8-ball rack or a straight pool rack or even a 9-ball rack are shots that I'm going to make automatically. If you want to get better at this game, you need to have resistance. That means putting in time on the shots that are important and the shots that are going to add some resistance to your game. If you're good at making totally straight-in shots down table, guess what? You don't need to shoot 10,000 of them. But if you're having issue with a 15-degree cut, a 30-degree cut, even bank shots, which we'll talk about a little bit later, why are you working on the 3-foot shot that you see all day in an 8-ball game? We know you can make that. It's very easy. It's fun to shoot balls in the pocket, but you need to add some resistance. So not doing drills is the number 1 mistake that people make. Second mistake that players make when it comes to drills is doing drills that are too easy. Make sure that the drill you're doing, whether it's a bunch of pocket hangers or a bunch of totally straight-in shots or whatever it is, if you're doing 100%, if you're knocking out 100% of them, if you're shooting 50 in a row, you're probably not in need of drilling that aspect of your game. There's certain things that you need to do, there's certain things you don't need to do, there's certain things you can get good at that you probably should continue to do, and we're going to talk about that in a couple of the later numbers, but don't do drills that are too easy, which brings us to number 3. Stop doing drills that are too difficult for you. Almost every week, and if you didn't know this, I work with about 25 different students every week, some virtually, some in person, but 25 is the average. That said, I get calls from people about everything. I'm entering a tournament, I just won a tournament, I just lost it, you name it. And one of the calls that I get all the time is, I saw a drill on YouTube and it's impossible, Bryan. I can't do it. And then I ask them who set up the drill, and they tell me a name. And some of you know the names of people that put up drills that aren't for beginner players, aren't for intermediate players, aren't for advanced players, okay? Some of them are for professional players. That's not your drill, okay? If you can't do 10% of the drill, if you set up a drill and you can't make 1 in 10 of the shots in that drill, or 1 in 10 of the position plays in that drill, it is outside your skill set. You need to work your way up to that. If the long straight shots like we see in the X drill, like I shot earlier, if you can't make that in 10 tries, that's not your shot. You know what your shot is? Your shot is the same line, but halfway down table. So you're shooting this shot, not the shot that's 6 feet, 7 feet away. If the drill is too difficult, make it easier. And just about every drill that I give you on this channel, you can make it easier either by moving the balls closer or taking ball in hand. A lot of them are position play drills, or just simply working your way through the rest of the drill and then going back to wherever you missed and fixing it. But if you can't make a long straight shot 1 in 10 times, 1 in 2 or 3 in 10 times, that's not your drill. And a lot of the drills on YouTube are very difficult and they're not your drills, and you need to recognize that. It's not you, it is the person giving you the drill. And there are guys that I love to death. There's a couple of pro players that put up some really cool drills for super advanced players. And I like to joke that very often some of these players, when they say, okay, this is for a B-level player, this is for a C-level player, some of these players haven't seen a B or C-level player in the last 15 years. But it's okay, I still love you guys. I've taught guys draw shots. And whether it's virtually or in person, we go over the shot, I teach them the mechanics of the shot, and then, of course, I send them off to practice the shot. And then what happens? I check with them the next week, and they say, yeah, I practiced it, I made it. I got that ball to draw the way you told me, Brian. How many did you shoot? I shot like 10, 15 of them. You shot 10 or 15? Now, all of you have seen me shoot the X drill. I shoot 50 of those. I try to shoot 50 every time I'm on the table. 50. That is where I'm starting to get resistance. That is where I am lifting the weight that is actually making a difference. If you are shooting 10 of anything, you have done nothing. Write it down. If you're shooting 10 of anything, that should be a t-shirt, you have done nothing. Shoot 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, the best players in the world are shooting 1,000 of a shot. We're talking about at least 50 on shots that you have trouble with. And if it's just maintenance, maybe you shoot lower numbers of that, but shoot higher numbers. Before we get into number 5, there's one last thing that I want to mention. And that is, remember why you are at the table. It sounds simple, right? Are you at the table to play, to learn, to practice, to drill, within your practice, to test yourself? Why are you at the table? And I mention this because a lot of times drills turn into messing around, turn into trick shots, turn into nonsense. Why? Because nonsense and trick shots and messing around is a lot easier than putting in the work. Remember why you are at the table in the first place and stick to it. So now, let's look at number 5. This may be the most important of all the tips that I give you, and I kind of touched on it with number 1 through 4, but it is key and is worth repeating even if you got the point. Number 5 is do drills that relate to what you play. Let me repeat that. Do drills that relate to the games that you play. What does this mean? A lot of you see a drill on YouTube, or some guy showed you some drill that he's doing, that he saw somewhere, or made up very often. It's always interesting. But it doesn't relate to you. It doesn't relate to your game. A lot of the drills that you see, first off, I haven't seen any new ones, okay, in a long time. There's a couple that I'm like, oh, I never saw that before. But I haven't seen a lot of new drills. They have been around for 30, 40, 50, longer than I've been around, okay? These are not new, which means that most of the drills that you're seeing people do were developed by straight pool players in a straight pool era. And what that means is if you're a 9-ball player and you're doing straight pool drills, guess what? You're putting in reps that you're not going to use. You're doing soccer drills and you're a football player. You can get some cross-training in there. There's no doubt about it. But you do 100 drills of something that are unrelated to your game, and you might get 20, 30% benefit. You do 100 drills of something that is related to the games you are playing, and you get 100% of the benefit. Now, what does that mean? Let's say you're a straight pool player, and you turn on my channel, and you see me doing a drill that looks like this. It involves you getting off of this 5 ball, 3 rails to come down here to get on the 7 ball. So you get down and you shoot a bunch of these. I don't know how many you shoot. 50, 60, 100, because you love it, because it's a cool shot, right? Well, if you're a straight pool player, you've got to do that about once at every, I don't know, 30 games. Okay, you're not playing that type of position. And if you're a 9-ball player and you're not practicing drills that teach you how to get around the table, then you are falling behind. If you play all games across the board, that's one thing, but most of you aren't doing that. And a lot of you are doing straight pool drills and you play 9-ball every week. What's the difference in these drills? First off, if you're doing a drill where the table is crowded, there's 15 balls on the table. Let's say you have 15 balls in a circle, the cue ball's in the middle, and you have to shoot the balls out of that circle and play position on the next ball. It's a great drill, by the way. I do that. But that's not your drill if you're a 9-ball player. First off, there are more balls on the table than you're going to see. Second, you don't have that many opportunities where you are playing very short position repeatedly in 9-ball. You are more likely to have to move around the table. What that means is, yes, you benefit from learning those shots, but in the real world, you're not using it often enough. You need to put in time that is valuable. Number 5, and the most important, is do drills that relate to your game. A couple other ways to identify them. I gave you an example. If it's a series of shots that you don't see on a regular basis in the game you play, get that drill in, but don't spend more than a couple minutes doing it. Second, if you're not playing bank pool and you're spending a half an hour of your hour shooting bank shots, guys, learn to play better position. Yes, at times people are going to leave you bank shots. At times you're going to need bank shots to get out of trouble. But if you're spending half your time practicing bank shots because they're cool, you're making a big mistake. And unless you're playing bank pool or you're a 1-pocket player, get that out of your practice, okay? Put in some reps every now and then, but don't make it a big percentage of your practice when you're not getting position. You know, some of the best bankers that I see in amateur leagues are guys that play terrible position. And people say, wow, that guy can't play position for shit, but he can bank shots. I said, of course he can, because he shoots more bank shots than anybody else on the planet. You know what? When you play this game on a good level and you play on a high level, you should look like you had 8 or 9 or 10, depending on the game you're playing, easy shots. If you shoot more than a couple bank shots per rack, you're probably playing lousy position. Learn to play better position because you only have limited time. If you got unlimited time, 3 hours, 4 hours a day, I don't care what you do, honestly. But even then, you know, I'm not bad at banks, but I don't practice them. Okay, why? Because there's so many things that are more important in the games that I play. Number 1, don't think you're going to improve rapidly if you're not doing drills. Number 2, don't waste your time with drills that are too easy. Number 3, don't frustrate yourself and waste your time with drills that are too difficult. Number 4, not putting in enough reps. I saw a video not so long ago. A guy said, this is your 15-minute practice. You're going to shoot 5 of these and 5 of these and 5 of these and 5 of these and 5 of these, and there's your 15 minutes. No. No. I can do anything 5 times, and it doesn't make me any better at it. All I did was fool myself and think that I got on the table and put in some practice. You want to practice and you only got 15 minutes, figure out what you suck at and spend 15 minutes doing that. And the last thing, do drills that relate to your games. Stick with things that relate to your game and you're going to waste less time on the table, which means your time will be used better on the table, which means you will improve faster. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will talk to you later.